Hello and welcome to another edition of the Spike Ridgley Show. Our show is being brought to you all season long by Reliable Heating and Cooling. I'm your host, Kalis Collins, here again with Coach Spike Ridgley. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Your Tigers are now 12-6 after playing 3 games in the past week. Since our last show, your team has lost to Jackson and Worcester, but you guys won extra innings over Glen Oak yesterday. Let's talk about those games, starting with last Friday night's loss at Jackson.
Yeah, we played a stretch of some quality opponents, which is really good for us. It helps us to get ready for the tournament. And it was, if you remember, there was a bunch of rain last week, so it was good to get back outside Friday night. We hadn't played since the previous Saturday with a string of practices in between. We got a really good start from Drew Stitt, pitched really well that night. And you know, it was a really tight, contested game. Made a couple of mistakes that hurt us a little bit on defense, but was proud of the guys and the way they bounced back and fought through the end there. We had some opportunities. We had a couple guys on base. I think it was maybe in the 5th. We got 1 run in. Really had a chance to maybe get 2 to tie it, but weren't able to. And just played them tough the whole game. And it's a game that you learn from. And our guys learn from, because we know, we just need to be able to make those plays when we have the opportunity. And for most part, the whole season we have. And the guys are giving a great effort, and that's certainly not the issue. So just a good learning moment for us and something that we can build off of.
This past Saturday was Youth Day at the Duck. How did that event go? Then tell us more about the loss to Worcester.
Yeah, the Youth Day was incredible. First I want to make sure I thank our booster club. And, people like Brian Smith, Brian Patches was there helping out. Phil Shorey is there. He's the baseball director for our youth organization. And really all the volunteers that were there to help out with whether it was getting the foods for the kids. And then really the teams that showed up. A lot of teams were playing on Saturday morning. So we only got maybe half of them or so, but it was still very, very positive. It's a neat experience for me, too, because my kids are a part of it now, too. I have a 3- and 5-year-old. So to see them come across the field with the T-ball team, and, it's nice to see that, because you remember, you got into it because it's a whole bunch of fun. And to see how much fun the kids and the coaches had that brought to the game that day was a lot of positive. So thank you to all the people that were able to be a part of that. And then the game itself, it was a tough day. It started out, first play of the game, we lost Drew Longwell, our first baseman, to injury, so that kind of stunned us a little bit. And then we get into the game, we gave up 4 in the first inning. You got to tip your cap to Worcester, man. They really hit 1-9. I thought they were one of the best hitting teams that we've played. But then we bounced right back. We scored 3 in the bottom half of the first, and it was tight for most of the game. But then we gave up a few late, and it ended up being 7-3. But we had a good chance to play against a team another really quality opponent. Jackson was 5th in the state. We played them, and then Worcester was 10th. And they've got a kid that's going to Kentucky in the SEC, and he played really well for them. So good, strong team. Another learning experience for us, and it's something that we'll take with us as we move closer to the tournament.
Then this past Monday, your Tigers got an extra inning win on the road against Glen Oak. I'm sure that game meant a lot. Yeah,
we needed to. We needed to bounce back and get back in the win column, and we were able to do that. We had a really strong start from Christian Marsh last night. He threw all 8, and he was, we had a 1-0 lead going into the 6th. And they were able to scratch one across and tie it, and it felt, you could feel the wind come out a little bit of our sail, because we knew that Christian was coming to the end as far as how many pitches he could throw. But I give the guys credit. They bounced right back in the 8th, and we scored one with 2 outs. Hack had a single up the middle that scored Vinny Keller, and we took the lead right there. And then Christian slammed the door shut in the bottom of the 8th. But our defense was really solid all day long. We only had 2 hits that night. Glen Oaks is the 5th seed. I think they're the 5th seed out of 35. So very good team. I think they were 14-4 when we went over to play them. So it was really good for us to play well like we did, especially on the road, and get a win when we needed it, because we've played some really tough opponents in the last few days, and to be able to get one against those guys there was really important.
As the regular season is winding down, how would you summarize the season at this moment?
I still think we're a work in progress. The kids have shown that we can we can play really good defense. We can really pitch it. We've shown that. And our hitting is starting to come along, and that's where for us, I think if we can start to click on the offensive side, we could become a team that is really positioned to do well. We know we have to get that part of the game going, and we're trying to make some adjustments there. But I'll tell you, if you're going to have one part that you're working on and have the other two being solid, you really want to be solid defensively and on the mound, and we've been that. And then the other thing too with this group. I've been doing this a long time, and this is a really close group. It's a close-knit group. It's a group that, the coaches and the players are very tight, close with one another, and it's a lot of fun. Every day, you get to about 5th, 6th, 7th mod, and you start to look forward to being together again for that day. And that's a testament to the character in the locker room and the coaches that we have here, and really the families too, the way that the kids have been raised. So I think I've said it a couple times on the show, we're really trying to enjoy the time that we have together. And of course we've got goals that we're going to go after, but we really enjoy that time that we have together each day.
Thanks, Coach. In a moment we'll talk with the Tiger player, but first these words from Reliable Heating and Cooling.
There was a time when 10 miles to the gallon was acceptable. Today's 40-plus mile-per-gallon cars weren't even in the rearview mirror back then. Of course, this Lennox air conditioner wasn't on the radar either. It's solar-ready, the quietest, most energy-efficient air conditioner you can own. It's time to live in the now.
Call Reliable Heating and Cooling for the most advanced technology in heating and air conditioning. When you're ready to live in the now, call Reliable Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Thank you, Reliable Heating and Cooling. Welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. The Tiger player joining us this week is senior pitcher Drew Stitt. Drew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Drew, what are your earliest memories of playing baseball, and who taught you the game?
Definitely my parents taught me. It was just in the backyard playing catch. Remember playing catch with my mom until my dad got home from work, and then they would throw me batting practice and hit and run around the bases, just have fun. I'd say 4 or 5 years old probably, until now.
As a senior, do you feel like you have accepted more of a leadership role on this team?
Yeah, I'd say I've tried to. If I'm just hitting, being the DH, or not playing at all, just try to be the first guy out, congratulating teammates or trying to pick them up. Good plays, bad plays. And, when I'm playing, just trying to do the best I can, obviously for our team, to get the win and, get to where our goals are.
This season on the mound, you have a 1-1 record with 1 save. Your ERA is 2.72. How would you summarize your season as a Tiger pitcher?
I would say I started off slower than I wanted to. Kind of giving up a couple leads that I had. Kind of some of that nerves, I guess, setting in the first couple games. But I feel like I've settled in a little bit. Throwing against Jackson, obviously a tough opponent. A lot of good hitters, 1 through 9. And then, just trying to do the best I can. Again, being a leader, it starts with me on the mound. So, trying to do those types of things.
At the plate, you're hitting .250 with 8 RBIs. What's your approach as you step into the batter's box?
I like to try to see one. You can't really see a lot from the side. So I try to go in and see one unless he throws the first pitch give me. But I do try to go in, see one, kind of get my timing right, and then go from there. If he gets ahead of me, looking off speed. If he gets behind me, looking for another fastball to jump on.
Finally, tell us what you enjoy most about being a player on the Tiger baseball team.
Definitely the locker room time and in the dugout. Our locker room, we got the LED lights in there. So if we get that, speaker going before games, before practice. Just enjoying those times in the dugout, cheering each other on. Obviously, we've had a pretty good year so far, so a lot of up times, so a lot of times to celebrate and have fun.
Thanks, Drew, and good luck the rest of the season. In a moment, Coach Ridgley will rejoin us on the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Stark County Humane Society. Today we're going to give you a few pointers when considering adopting a new furry friend. All animals here at the Stark County Humane Society are spayed, neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, dewormed, and if old enough, heartworm tested for our canine friends. Adopters will receive a free exam within 2 weeks of adoption at local veterinarian hospitals. We encourage all adopters to take full advantage of this. A one-time adoption fee is required for your new furry friend. When you adopt, you get an awesome adoption packet that includes treats for your new fur baby and savings for you. But this is not where the cost of adoption stops. Did you know the average cost of an animal like a new puppy or kitten can cost up to $500 annually? This includes annual veterinarian visits, preventative care, and everyday supplies like crate, litter, food, toys. But I hope this doesn't scare you away. Adopting an animal is a huge responsibility and a commitment. Please take the time to consider the cost of adopting a new pet into your family today. I hope to see you soon at the Stark County Humane Society. Please visit our website or visit us on social media for more information.
Welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. Coach, we just spoke with senior pitcher Drew Stitt in our last segment. He's another senior that I'm sure you're going to miss after he graduates.
Yeah, he's a guy that, you know, he knew he was going to be a factor for us on the mound this year, and he's our number one. He throws every time it's his turn, and he usually gives us a really strong start. He's done that each time this year, but he's been hitting for us too. Something that he's been working on a lot of the year is hitting. I think he's been batted most of the time fifth in the lineup for us, and seems to he finds a way to hit a line drive for us when we really need it. And so he's been very important offensively as well. But when you look at, you know, the guy that we're going to send out there on the day when, you know, we're going up against a real tough opponent or a team that we really need to get a win that day, like so many other guys like Christian on Monday night, you know, Drew is that guy for us, you know. So we've been fortunate to have several pitchers that have pitched really well this year. Drew has the most experience out of those pitchers. He threw both. He threw both the sectional final last year and the district semifinal for us last year. So, you know, he's a guy that we lean on that experience some, and he has a mound presence about him, and he commands the mound, and he's under control when he's out there. So it's a lot of fun when it's his turn to pitch.
We have several more games to talk about coming up this week as the regular season schedule winds down. Let's start with tonight's home game against Dover. Your senior night and teacher appreciation night will both take place prior to the game. Tell us more about that, and of course, what you know about Dover.
Well, what would a senior night and educator night this season be without it? One of them had been rained out first. So we were going to do senior night at the end of April, and we had the week of total, it was rain almost every day. So we were trying to look at a place that might fit, and we thought it was a really nice fit to have the kids be honored as seniors on their senior night, and then for them to be able to honor their most influential educator on the same night. So we got confirmation from all the teachers that are going to be a part of it. They're going to be there. I want to thank the teachers for making time to do that, because, you know, the kids, like I said, the special group of kids, and they've really created some relationships not only with the team, but with teachers that they've had, and they're very grateful for what the teachers have done for them as far as not only the current subject matter that they're teaching, but just the relationships that are built, and just same as sports, just trying to help with getting the kids ready for their life after high school. And our teachers do a heck of a job with that, and we're very grateful for that. And so we get to go ahead and honor those guys that night, and then we'll also have the senior night that night. And that'll be neat because, you know, we'll honor those guys, and then we'll have they'll select a parent to come out and throw out the first pitch before the game. So it's a neat night. We're looking forward to it, and it looks like we're going to have good weather for it too.
This Saturday, your Tigers host St. Vincent St. Mary. What can you tell us about the Irish?
Yeah, we played them in I think it was 9 innings over at Munson a couple Saturdays ago. And I learned this, I didn't know there was a curfew, but at 11 the game was stopped because of curfew, and the game was tied. So we're very evenly matched with those guys. They have some really dangerous hitters in the middle of their order, so we'll be aware of that, and we'll need to pitch around those guys if at all possible. But we're going to play a new game that day because they have proms, so they will not have time to make up the other one. So we're going to go brand new game that day, and it'll be a good solid opponent for us. Just like Dover for tonight.
Then on Monday, the Lake Blue Streaks will be at the Duck. Tell us more about Lake.
So that game has actually been canceled because Lake drew a Tuesday tournament game. So they're gonna and I totally support it. We talked before the season if one or the other had to play a Tuesday tournament game, that we would be okay canceling that so they could do their final prep for the tournament. So we're actually looking for an opponent right now. I've got a couple of people that I've reached out to, and we're trying to work that out. But I anticipate we will play Monday night so that we can try and stay sharp for the tournament game.
And finally, we talked last week about the upcoming Division I tournament. Give us an update on the seeding and who the Tigers will be playing in the opening round.
Yeah, so there's 35 teams it's a three district, because they call it a super district, as you're familiar with the basketball. Yeah. But yeah, so we drew the 10th seed out of 35, and there were 11 byes, so we were able to get one of those. And we were able to stay in the Canton district this year. So last year we were in the Nordonia district. This year we're back at Canton, and we play in the double bye situation. So there's no game in front of us, but it is the second round because we're going to play Dover on Thursday night next week for the sectional final. And Dover's a very well coached team by Coach Fondrest. And we will have played them the last two nights. Going into this thing for Tuesday and Wednesday this week, and it's a team that it's going to be an interesting situation because we'll know a lot about each other because we will have just played each other. Normally when you play a team early in the season, they change a bunch by the end of the season, and we're really going to be going at each other this week with close to a final product, both teams. So it'll be a tough game. They've always played us tough. We're about, in my time here in 8 years, we're about split even. We won a few, maybe 3 or 4 of them at first, and they've won like the last 4. So it's a pretty even matchup. It's always a close game, and we know that we're going to have to be sharp and ready to go.
As we wrap up this edition of the Spike Ridgley Show, we want to thank Coach Ridgley and Drew Stitt for being on the show. Thanks to our season-long sponsor, Reliable Heating and Cooling. I'm your host, Calix Collins. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.